There are incredible stories to be discovered at the Oldham County Historical Society Museum, Library, and National Underground Railroad Network to Freedom site. And one of them could be your own heritage. Find out what awaits you as you watch Digging Up the Stories That Matter, told by Dr. Nancy Theiss.
Oldham County is the gateway to the western frontier in many ways. Because of its location across from the Illinois Territory, people came here to set off into their journey west. The slave escapes from the Westport Courthouse at the time were significant as well. So you can get the activities of what was going on in this early period of American history by coming to Oldham County. By proving Henry Bibb escaped from Kentucky, that enabled us to earn the recognition as a site, the archaeological site, on the National Park Service National Underground Railroad Network. Henry Bibb was a very intelligent man who devoted his life for the freedom of all of those that were enslaved. He knew it was unjust. You know, they always talked about slavery was so bad in the South, but slaves in Kentucky, you know, the life wasn't so bad here. Well, when you read Henry Bibb's story, it's just awful. He ran away numerous times, was flogged repeatedly, but he fell in love with Melinda, who was from Oldham County. Said she had a beautiful singing voice, and that stopped him in his tracks. And they had a daughter, Mary Frances. But he kept talking about running away from the chains of slavery. And the time came when his wife and his daughter, he wanted to take them up through Cincinnati, up to Detroit, which is where so many communities were for the free soil. But they got caught. Bibb and Melinda and Mary Frances were sent to the garrison slave pens in Louisville under filthy conditions, which he describes. And Bibb tried to escape again with his wife and daughter. He was caught. This time when he came back, Whitfield almost beat him to death. And as he was beating him, some men came up and they bought Henry Bibb. They felt sorry for him and they bought him and took him away. But Deacon Whitfield, as he was leaving, said, "You will never see your wife and daughter again." And he never did. He went on and joined the abolitionist circuit with Frederick Douglass, and you see the resistance building up. And he published his narratives, made enough money that he bought some land in Windsor, Canada, and established a colony for refugee slaves. Henry Bibb opened my eyes to slavery in Kentucky. In Oldham County, we have a man named Richard Oglesby, who became governor of Illinois. He was very involved in the abolitionist movement, and he was a good friend of Lincoln. So a lot of these people were born around 1814 to 1820, and Delia Webster was one of them. She grew up with a fairly what you would consider normal childhood. She was very educated, very smart. She was a conductor for the Underground Railroad. Well, she and Calvin Fairbanks helped a man named Lewis Hayden escape with his wife and his son. They got them in a wagon and they drove them all the way up to Ohio. However, on the way back, they had to stop at a tavern, and a couple of slaves recognized Mr. Fairbanks and Delia Webster, and they actually turned them in. She ended up only serving a short term of about 2 to 4 months. You know, she, again, is someone who many times her life was threatened. She was thrown in prison. But it's another example of people dedicated to this cause of democracy and, detesting the enslavement. For me, the shocker, which is really sad, is I didn't discover this until later in life. I think it was just abysmal that the accomplishments of all these people who sacrificed their lives and their family, they just go unnoticed. And there were thousands of people, and I don't think our history books portray that very accurately. The documents that we have at the History Center are rare because a lot of the courthouse documents, the courthouse is burned over 200 years. This is a long period of time. We know that these people have made a lot of sacrifices so we can enjoy who and where we are today.
This is just one of many stories that can be heard and experienced only in Kentucky.